Hey guys, it's Avengel. Welcome back to the channel. And yes, that's an A380 sitting at Bella Coola Airport, and I was going to cut this out and do this again. But I thought, you know what? We're going to leave this in because this is why I think Flight Sim needs to fix some things still. Because, yeah, look, I actually fit perfectly under this plane. Yeah, our wing's clipping a little bit there, but we could otherwise just sit under its wing like a hanger. Yeah. That is an A380 at Bella Coola. I'm just going to hop inside the plane real quick so I can go. Yeah. How'd this get here? Like, really? I'm all for AI-generated scenic aircraft at airports, but come on. There we go. Much better, much more peaceful, much more Canadian. This feels right now. So we're here in British Columbia. We're at Bella Coola, which, if you're not familiar with it, is one of the enhanced airports. It is Charlie Yankee Bravo Delta. Hi, I'm Avangel. Welcome back to the channel if I haven't already said that. But today we're going for one of my old school flights. We're just going into the bush on a resupply mission. Some of the stuff I used to do back in the day. And I'm going to do some more of it now. We have 2024 starting to work a lot better. So, pull my chocks here. Everything's removed there from our 185 float plane today. We're heading up to Moose Lake on a resupply mission to the lodge there. And whilst it has got a ground-based runway, I wanted to take a float plane. Because it's BC, and I wanted to. I have a mod pack in for the panel. FYI, in case you want this, I will link to it in the description. As a mod pack that allows you to have either black or grey. There are different options, panels for the aircraft. I'm trying the grey one out. I'm not sold. So make sure our gear is set where it needs to be. It's down. It is confirmed down. Okay, now power's set to be on already, which I shouldn't have done, but it already is. Stand by there. Thanks to both. Looking good there. Let's go down here to our fuel pump. There we go. Okay, leave that to warm up for a second. So we are off today to, as I mentioned, Moose Lake. I'll pull up the tablet for you to see. Now we're just setting our weight and balance in the aircraft that is loaded into the aircraft as it should be. Our cargo we're going to put to about 700 pounds. Seats need to be back down to 2 seats. Okay. Fuel, I think we're okay on terms of fuel. So, we'll take a look at loading the aircraft failed. This never seems to work properly for me. We'll just leave that. Oh no, that's my fuel. We want to leave the fuel there. That'd be probably a good idea. We like fuel. Fuel's good for us. Does it work now? Is it going to go back? You know what? Screw it. We'll pretend. It's pretending. We're good at pretending. So we'll go to our flight planner. We took off from British Columbia, here, from Bella Coola, I should say. We're flying up across the tundra just north of here, up towards Moose Lake. And it should be a simple resupply flight. This tricky section here in the mountains could be interesting as we go up the Bella Coola Valley, but we'll find out as we go. Right, everything seems to be tuned up nicely for us here, so get those off. And we'll get ourselves to runway 23 for our departure today. Got about 4 knots of wind off the nose. That should make things a little bit more interesting. But it shouldn't be too bad for us today. There we go. Turned around nicely. We'll go 1 notch of flaps for this. Now, we can decide if we want to do land or water once we get there. But like I said, go make a cup of tea, pause, go get a cup of tea or coffee, your preferred beverage. Sit down and join me for a relaxing flight. We'll do some talking about the state of the sim as we fly, but I want to take us on just one of my old school bush trips for the sake of a bush reason. Because these are some of my favourite things to do in the sim. Flying for a reason. I don't need career mode. I don't need specific VA or mission planner. I'll give myself a destination and a reason and I will make it happen. Okay, everything looking good here. Okay, let's get ourselves rolling. I really do love the 185 since they released this. It's been a quick favourite of mine, and she flies fantastically. Nope, there's no autopilot, but there are going to be mods, I'm sure, that will provide us with that capability. Let's transition gear up. Oh, there we go. Come left a little bit first, then we'll turn right. Or right, then left. My brain is engaged backwards today for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it was seeing an A380 at Bella Coola that broke me. But I do think that's one thing we could do with. In terms of AI traffic management, that's my biggest pet peeve at the moment in the sim. And it should, in theory, be fairly simple to do. Because they have types for aircraft. Commercial, military, regional, long haul. There should be types to aircraft, correct? Now, if you have an airport like Bella Coola, set type, Bush, GA, light turboprops, whatever you want to call these categories. But it should be getting commercial traffic in terms of AI. And that should be based on size. I mean, realistically, an A380 shouldn't be nowhere near an airport like this. There's no conceivable way. Whereas here it is, unfortunately, doing exactly that. And I'm pretty sure my 430 has decided it does not want to actually show the route. That is deeply unfortunate. Well, it's a good job we kind of know where we're going, and we also have the tablet to take our directions, so we'll have to use that. Let's get ourselves configured here where we need to be. Now, as we're getting into spring, the end of winter, although Alaska's had a bit of a nope, no kidding, as snow's come back down again for them, so their winter's extended a little bit more, but we are heading towards spring for the region, so things are starting to get a little better, meaning the flying will get easier. Now we're going to be heading inland here. We're following the Bella Coola River. And if I can pronounce this correctly, the Chilcotin Bella Coola Highway down below us. And we're heading towards the valley that is flanked by Thunder Mountain. And yes, that's its real name, Thunder Mountain. Just past the bend up ahead. And the town. Why is that radio not on? Interesting. Because my avionics are turned on. Yeah. Interesting how that didn't turn off. I do recall that working. It should be the panel, but it is every reason it could be, so I'm not sure. Because I know I have primary navcom on the 430, but the Ben King unit should be working. Weird. Right, so we pass along here, and we're in our beautiful, as mentioned, 185. A gruntle of this livery, the black and red two-tone. Quite a pretty aeroplane. And I just love having a capable bush aircraft like this. It's really what I've been missing in the sim. Of course, we've got the Beaver, and the Beaver is iconic, but I've always liked my Cessna bush planes. And this is one of my favourites, along with the 206. So you can consider me a very happy bush pilot to have it back. Now, this should be our turn up ahead. And I'll confirm with the old tabletorino. It is indeed. I am actually correct. I've flown this area so often, I'm usually pretty familiar with where I'm going. So we are right. We'll head up here, we'll crest along past Thunder Mountain, and we'll be off onto the plains to the north in the tundra. And we should be good. We'll have to do some climbing here, so it should be okay. You know what, this is essentially useless, so I'm going to set this into this mode here. This will get some data from it, although we can't because the route's not on there. I think it's because Moose Lake is not actually technically marked. I'll probably get some data if I actually go put the ICO in for Moose Lakes. What are we looking for? We're looking for Charlie Bravo Echo 3. Charlie Bravo Echo 3. Let's do this whilst turning into a valley. See if we can make this happen. Charlie Bravo. Echo 3. See, Charlie Bravo Echo 3, that is not what we're looking for, is it? Echo 8, okay. Moose Lake, bingo. Fantastic. Now we are where we should be turning here. I love having this because I can actually show you where we're going now. Always useful to have. And that is actually updated. Fantastic. You know what, that screen is actually completely pointless. So yes, we have to come up here across that Thunder Mountain ahead of us. And I just want to point out, I love it when people give mountains cool names. In this case, Thunder Mountain is pretty apt. And it sounds badass. It's like Witch Mountain. If anyone remembers that old film, Return to Witch Mountain. Some great names. But no, we should be able to take the pass directly ahead and it should pop us out the far side. With some reasonable climbing. We are going to want to basically gain some altitude here because we're not on the... It's very narrow. Our chance to turn around is quite limited. We don't want to deal with that. But yes, other than some glitches today with the aircraft, which are unexpected, and my issue with AI planes, I mentioned that earlier, but I think it should be easier to filter these things because military aircraft should not be landing at these or AI military aircraft should not be appearing at these various airports. I shouldn't see A-10s at civilian airports, or unless they have like an Air National Guard ramp. I should be seeing A-10s. I should be seeing T-6 Texan 2s, or the AT-6 Texan 2s. I shouldn't be seeing T-38 Talons. I shouldn't. It's wrong, and it's breaking the immersion, especially when you have an AI A380 sitting at Bella Coola. Something is deeply wrong there. And it feels like, as an issue goes, it should be a relatively easy one to handle. Because this didn't happen in FSX or 2020, where you got monstrously wrong AI turning up at these airports. I digress. So we've had Sim Update 1, and we've had World Update 19, so we are now into the life cycle of Flight Sim 2024. Should you buy this sim if you have not bought it yet? I say yes. I say this sim is more than playable. It is more than enjoyable and more than flyable. It is a fantastic sim in terms of just the pure experience of it, visually, in the air, on the ground. Little nuanced things like the fact they now actually have actual rock texture they put in cliff face areas now, rather than having stretched other textures, has made the most monumental difference to flying in the bush for me. Especially the mountainous bush, like this. And that to me is a huge, huge, huge improvement, and one I'm very glad to see. I think the career mode has got some glitches, but it's always going to be a game mode, you know? It's not a sim experience in that way. And I don't think it was ever designed to be that. I think it was designed to be a light experience. It's not arcade. But it's also not 100% plausible to flight rules, regulations. It's simming light. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fun. Because those people who want to do serious career simming are going to go do VAT sim, they're going to go do VAs, and they're going to go fly these missions in those environments where they can do everything by the book. Career mode isn't that. And that's okay. If I want to go take some tourists on a helicopter flight and have them yap at me, or if I want to take Hans on a tour of his village, whilst an umpire band plays below, fantastic. Or if I want to go fly some cargo out to somewhere specific, it's a cool feature. But it isn't necessarily required. And that's okay. Okay, we are fantastic. We make it through there. That pass exactly where I thought it would be and actually pops out the far side, which is what I was hoping for. We make it through here, no problems. Ceiling's a bit heftier today, but there's the mountain up ahead of us. I'm loving the bits of ice there in the lake down below. Such pretty views. Look at this. This is what bush flying's about for me. It's that raw, open experience. I really love it. So the photo modes, challenge modes are all fun for people if they want to play those. I quite enjoy them. every now and again. But my sim has always been free flight. The career mode has never been what's driving my sim experience, and that's okay. I don't need it to. It's cool to have, but we can still happily use those other features, and this is one thing I was very kind of... I actually did ask Sebastian at the Arizona event, and I asked him, what's going to happen to things like Air Hauler, to the one beginning with V. I've forgotten its name now. But all these other add-ons for career modes, and he was saying, well, this is something we're doing our way, and I agree with that. But it's also that there are other options for people out there who want more of an experience, they want more restrictions on them, they want more accuracy. And I was initially kind of nervous that this would basically dominate that market and it would take away from those developers. But he assured me that it was something that would work alongside them, and I think they're right, because it does. So in this case, I don't think we've lost anything, I think it's only a gain, because it's fun to dip in and out of. Although I would have liked much more centralization to where I select my base mattering, rather than me being able to just fly missions all over the world. Despite it technically being from my base, it just feels a little bit odd. But it's fine. I'm getting the experience I want out of it. If I want to fly helicopters for tourists in New York, I can. And if I want to go fly people around their villages in, Western Germany, I can do that too. But it's definitely a good experience, for sure. An enjoyable one. But I don't fly Flight Sim for career mode. I never have. Because I've always wanted to make my own missions like this. Where we're here for a job and for a reason, and we're going to make good of it. Little bit more juice here. Pull that prop out a bit more now. Oh, trim's a little bit racy on this airplane, I've noticed. It's not awful, but it's a bit on the racy side. And I thought this area would be largely flat, but it seems to be a little bit more busy than I had originally intended or imagined. Some cool ravines and valleys below us. Great visuals too. Really is desolate. No roads here. There's a river down there, but there's no roads, there's no railways. This is remote. This is the kind of flying I enjoy, taking planes to places you can't get to otherwise. Some of these lakes and valleys, this is all about flying the plane. Being one with nature. Little bit of chop in the weather. The ceiling's definitely making things a bit more. It's fine, there's plenty of visibility, really unlimited. But I don't want to get too much higher because of that. Seems to be doing okay so far. Pull a bit north here. I want to try and spot as we go past. There'll also be Lily Lake and Gacho Lake I want to see. Okay. Should be alright. I think if we could spot them on our map, we'll be able to see them. So we are currently there. So I think these are up here. So we'll just pull to the north a little bit. And that should be Lily and Gacho along our route, unless it's those two there. Actually, it's those two there. Sorry. Remember the shapes. It's Lily and Gacho over there. So no problem. We'll just get ourselves lined up more appropriately to our planned route. Once we're past the mountains, and we'll be okay. So yes, back to the subject of, do you want to buy this sim if you don't have it? Well, the marketplace is out now, and we're into the actual development life cycle. What does that mean? Well, we've had a sim update, so a good number of problems have been fixed, and sim update 2 is well underway, according to Microsoft, and is expected to be coming reasonably soon. Testing for sim update 1 was pretty good, so fingers crossed there. They're into what we expected of them now. I truly believe that Microsoft, or at least elements above the Flight Sim team, rushed them out. They want to keep to the 2024 title, although it wouldn't be the first game to come out with a title that didn't match its year of release. But I think they wanted to stick to the 2024 release, and I believe somebody was insistent on that. But I think they knew they weren't ready, which is unfortunate. I believe they want the sim to be perfect. The people there, you know, Seb and the other guys, Jorg, I know they want this to be right. And I think we're going to see that driven through the sim updates, because what we saw with 1 was a big improvement in the right areas. The big important changes got fixed. We saw a ton of updates and pushes, and not just fixes, by the way. I know a number of aircraft got actual updates and new content. For example, the Albatross. That one got a major improvement to it. Mike Johnson, the developer behind that, he added a new version, the extended range, the search and rescue ones, with liveries on them. We got updates to the actual function of that aircraft and features. So we got improvements to quite a lot of aircraft too, along with fixes. So yeah, there were fixes to a lot of aeroplanes in all versions, but there were also updates. And like I said, Marketplace is out now, and you can now buy individual aircraft from the other packs. If you do not have Deluxe or Premium Deluxe, I absolutely highly recommend you buy the 404 by Caronado, the Titan, fantastic little twin, and also the Albatross, as mentioned, because they're both fantastic aeroplanes if you like flying like I do. Those two are absolute instant worth every penny aeroplanes for me. Absolutely would recommend them above all else I could think of in the sim. Seriously recommended. And if you haven't, there's Lynn Norden from Got Friends, also a big recommend. Wonderful aeroplane, fantastic to fly. So this is what I like about what we're flying right now, is if I wanted to go look down there at that marsh at the end of the river, at the lake there, I could just come down and land in the middle of nowhere, and with 2024 I can get out and walk around and explore it. That's so cool. Yeah, we're getting sceneries like the Amboy scenery there, where we're able to explore all around that world, and I'm going to drop out this cloud. We're just at the bottom of it. Keep myself clean of that. But it's very nice to be able to get out and explore some of these places in real life. Like Amboy, we were able to really kind of see what the place was like and enjoy it. And I thought that was super cool. So yes, the next major lakes we'll see on our side here are going to be Lily and Gacho. Then I believe we have, that one is Sayawaka, or Sayawaka. I don't speak the correct dialect for pronouncing that one. And then we're on to Moose Lake here. Probably because there were moose near it. And then it's called Johnny Lake up there. Probably because the guy who found it was called Johnny. Which seems like a very valid reason. We should see those three lakes coming up here in a row. Just a second. So we'll keep our eyes out for those. There's quite a few around, but it's not these. No, I just love exploring the geography and seeing all the environment around us. The cloud's getting a bit lower here. I'm just popping out of pockets of it. A bit more than I'd perhaps want to see. Just seem to be dropping down a little bit in terms of the ceiling. Although we're about 5,500. So the terrain's reasonably high here. I'd probably say about 3,500 feet below us. Or it's about 3,500 feet up, rather than it being... You know what I meant. I have recreationally completely moved on from 2020, by the way. I no longer fly 2020 for enjoyment. I do it for reviews now. That's why I'm keeping it for the time being. But in general, I'm exclusively in my personal simming. And this is my actual endorsement here. This is what I say when I mean I'm happy with 24. Is I no longer fly 2020 for recreational purposes. Everything I could get from it, I can get from here now. I have the Duckworth mod for my DC-3. My 206 and 170 work in here. And I have one 185 now. The 404, the Albatross. The Marketplace works, and a lot of my 2020 aircraft are being updated and released again. Plus, we're starting to get some major releases. A big piece of news, and I'm not a military aircraft fan as much as you might think, but we are getting, it's been announced from Heat Blur, their F4 Phantom 2 is coming to 2024. I will fly the bejeebus out of that aeroplane. I know the F-16 was by then was mentioned, but a Phantom? I was disappointed with the DC Phantom. It was kind of a surface level, not quite fantastic. It was alright. Nothing to write home about aeroplane. But oh boy, if that Phantom is anything like the F-14, I am going to be so excited. Although I hope the AI Rio in there starts talking about napalm. Come on, please make the Rio talk about napalm. Please. It's not a war crime if you have a great time. Okay, that's a touchy joke, but I'll leave it alone. It's not the season for that, I don't think. No, of course. Obviously, I'm joking, for the record. If you haven't yet tuned in, by the way, you can join me this Friday on Microsoft's official Twitch channel. I've been doing a couple of them over the last couple of months, but I'll be joining the Community Fly-In again this Friday for their Community Fly-In event, and that one is taking us, I believe, through French Guiana, to be able to see what's going on with that one. In fact, I will pull up the details right now so I can tell you exactly where it's going. It is part of the World Update 19 showcase, and we are flying to Guyana and Suriname. And you can join, of course, the legendary CD, the host, and myself and the amazing Alison Johnson will be there too. So you can get two of your favourite ladies of Flight Sim World for the price of one. Well, there's no prices, no. No. Bad choice of words. No prices involved. Wait, that makes me sound worse. But I didn't say anything, just pretend I never said a word. I'm pretty sure this is Lily Lake. Yeah, there we go. Lily Lake coming up ahead of us. Wow. It's the lake I mentioned that's totally not a distraction from everything I was just saying. We'll swing this way a little bit towards it. Why not? Let's take a look. What's this lake river down below us here? Oh, look, a river. We're in an aeroplane with skis, so we could theoretically land on that too. I'm still distracting you. It's okay. So, Lily Lake is going to be off to our side here. That one is not it. That one is it. So that's Lily Lake. And the next one will be Gacho. Agacho Lake. It's right here off my nose. It's a terrible joke, but I'm good at terrible jokes, so we're good with that. Take a bit of a shufty down here. See, all the lakes in this area are pretty similar, in fact. Usually created by, with it being very flat terrain, a depression in the land where a river happens to pass through the area. It spreads out. There's a lot of marshland in the tundra here, so water will settle in these low points. And you'll get a general kind of migration of the water seaward. There we go. A lot of peaty terrain around here as well, marshy land. So there's Lily Lake right down there. Nothing significant about it other than it's fed by a small river. Down here. It pops out the far side. And of course Gacho over here. And Sayawaka. To its end. Unless that's Sayawaka. It's probably Sayawaka over there. Again, nothing particularly special about them. We've got a road down here, one of the very few in the area. Although, I think that might be a rail line. No, it's a road. I've never flown out here. So this is actually a new, unique flight for me. Which I certainly enjoy. Let's make sure we're on course somewhat. We shouldn't be super far away now from Moose Lake. Pop over that. It's just over here, see? Not too far away at all. But we can follow our track there and be right on top. Is it giving us any functional deets on here? It is not actually. Despite the fact we have all the details plugged in, it does not give us the deets we want. Yes. Boo, you suck. Yeah, best we're gonna get. It shows us the right direction at least. This is gonna be Sewaka, down below us. But the marsh at the southern end there. Well, I think it's feeding out of the lake at slightly kind of lower ground. I think it's feeding in at the far end over here. There we go. Stay on course here for moose. Bit of higher terrain ahead, which is getting a bit closer to the cloud cover above us, so I want to keep an eye on that. Do we have our inlet on this end somewhere? I don't see an inlet up here. I'd think it'd be somewhere on this end, but it doesn't appear to be. But that's not always how lakes work, because the inlets can be on somewhere else. It just happens to be low ground. It has to form the rest of the lake. So it's not always linear end to end, you'll find. It can have to be at midpoints in other areas like that. I love seeing these clearings. I should get the ski plane out one day and take it to some of these. We could really have a good time. But we're not super far away now. If we're on our general approach, we can see our target lake ahead of us. Like I said, it's a ground field, but we'll be landing on the water and taxi to the beach here. Nice and easy. We'll do a low pass on our arrival to check over the state of the surface. Now, our heading is currently basically opposite what we wanted. It's about 060 degrees, and we want to be landing about 230. So it's almost the opposite direction we're currently flying. So this will be our good upwind. We'll check out the water, make sure there's no obstructions, nothing problematic, and then we'll be able to flip around, line up, and come back in. And deliver our cargo and supplies to the folks here at Moose Lake Lodge. And we completed a successful delivery. We might stay for the evening. I hear there's a good barbecue here. Probably not moose though. Might be moose. Could be salmon. Or elk. Either way, I hear it's pretty good. I hope everyone had a good weekend that went to Flight Sim weekend, of course, this past weekend. I did not get to go. I was planning to originally, but unfortunately I was not able to. Prior commitment basically didn't pan out, so I held off going to FS weekend. So I was not able to attend that at the late notice I had. Would have loved to have been there. I saw a lot of you guys there, and hopefully you all had a good time. Looked like it was a blast. Next year I'd love to, though. That's the plan. Here we are, Moose Lake. There's the runway down below us. And we should be able to get a good view of the lake. And the lodge just to the side of it. Let's pull our power out here and get ourselves set up for our approach. I want to get pretty low here. Okay, aircraft gear is confirmed up. Water rudders are retracted. Tanks are set to both. Pump is set to on. Mixture to rich. Prop to full fine. I'd like the power for now. This is the heading I'll be flying for my approach, just the opposite direction, so keep this in mind. Let's get ourselves lower here. No issues in terms of climb out for abort. Terrain's pretty low on this side. Okay. Descending down. I've missed flying the 185 around, I really have. Okay. Good, 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 good. Honestly, that runway looks quite snowy over there, so I think, I said, by tundras on, this could have been a bit busy. Okay. Now, I haven't noticed any terrain steps in lakes in 2024 yet, so that's a good start. That head-on will be our line-up point there ahead of us. Looking good. Let's spin around and bring her in, shall we? One-notch flaps. Just to ride on as we slow down. A little bit of rudder in there just to ease her in. There we go. Bring her around here. Second notch in. Notice it's not yelling at me, gear up for water landing. Gear up for water landing. Good. Annoying. How dare you keep making that noise to me. And there's our headland. There's the field in sight. It's our end point. Okay. We're on course here. 230. Or 220, which is close enough. A little bit long, but we're alright. Bring the nose up. Hold the nose so to sink. Beautiful. Flaps coming up. Looking good. A little bit of rudder just ticking over. Just trajectory whilst we still have airflow over it. Is that the strip there? That's the strip there. Okay, perfect. Yep, there's the building. Okay. Wrong thing, it's this one. Gear down. Get ourselves lined up with the beach here. There's a tree right there. We don't want to be worrying about that one. Heading is good. Tracked water rudders. Obviously, there's water rudders sticking out the back of your float. If you get into shallow ground and or tilting the aircraft up as you exit the water, you don't want to damage the water rudders because they can get caught on stuff, especially water or plant material in shallows and or mud, stones, rocks. So as we get those close to the surface, we don't want to really kind of mess with those. Of course, this is a bit marshy for what you'd actually come out with amphibious gear, but in sim terms I have no boat ramp and there's no dock to tie up to as there would be. But we are good, and we are home for the day. Mission complete. We shall pull up and tie up and call it a day. Looking good. Perfect. It's my favourite part of the new sim, if I'm honest. Getting out when I'm done and walking around. It's a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but here I am. Moose Lake. I flew over here from somewhere else where I as a person was on foot. I climbed an aeroplane, I flew here and I got out. It feels more like the world. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my various ramble TED Talks, and I will see you all soon. Bye.